Hey guys, it's John here, and I got a couple of packages in the mail here. We're just going to do a little bit of an unboxing. I'm not much for unboxing videos, but I thought I would do this because part of the experience in buying quality components is how are they packaged, how did the shipping go, and things like that. So this first one here is from Go Big Tactical. So I expect when I open this, I will find the RimX Action by Zermatt Arms. I have dealt with Tom in the past, I think, and once anyway. I'm not sure if it was once or twice, but I have a Minox scope that I got from him. So here we have it, the package from Zermatt, and this here he shipped out with Perlator, and it shipped Monday. This is Wednesday, and I received it, so always good in that regard. Big fancy boxes, I don't really care for them much. It's more how does the product get to me. So we have the magazine here. That was packaged very well, I would say. Yeah, bubble wrap around the whole kit and caboodle. And we have carried down here. So this is a couple Zermatt stickers, big Zermatt sticker, and then we have the pins for the trigger, and we have a no-go gauge, I expect. Let's see what it says here. Doo-doo. Okay, so the gauge will not fit with the extractor. Okay, anyway, that's for later.
Are you all done?
No. Alright, so here's the Action. Everything looks clean, tidy. We got the 40 MOA rail. That's what I was hoping to have, but he wasn't sure if he'd have 40 or 30 for me, but we got a 40. And I guess these screws are actually to finish installing the rail. It comes with just the one screw in. That lets you screw in the barrel with no chance of interference on that end. Yeah, should be exciting to get this thing together and send some rounds downrange. Now, unfortunately, Canada Post decided I don't want my barrel for Christmas, so they're saying January 4. IBI had shipped it out. It's one of the first things that shipped, but it went south in the Canada Post system. Okay, this next box here is from Ultimatum Precision. I expect this will be the magazines that they have developed. Originally it was to come with the Deuce Action, but that's been delayed numerous times, as I'm sure you guys know who have been waiting on one. So they shipped out the magazines here. We still don't know for sure when the Action will show up, but they're talking like it will be end of January. So once again, it was bubble wrapped nicely, so that was good. I like the stickers. Now there is two versions of the magazine. There's the all aluminum version, which I have here, and this is simply just a limited production run from what I understand. And then they do the polymer is the main magazine that they're going to run production with due to cost of production. So who knows, maybe the aluminum will stay an option if there's a lot of demand for it. It's hard to say, not my call. But as I understand it, these are a 15 round magazine, and then with the adjustable catch, very much like what Zermatt has done here with the RimX one. It's got the adjustable catch as well. But this one is adjustable from the back, whereas you have to adjust this one from the side. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everything runs. I plan on trying out the Ultimatum magazines in the RimX and see how the feeding goes. I expect there's a possibility that it will not feed due to the relation of the followers and the bolt. This has a long feed ramp here. Yeah, we'll see. But a friend of mine, he had his his RimX over, and I got a couple of the Voodoo magazines as well that I have we stuck in there, and they fed flawlessly in the little bit we tested. Alrighty guys, that's it for the unboxing. We have the magazines, we now have the action, and I'm planning on running the Trigger Tech Special on it as well. And we just need the barrel. So as soon as Canada Post does their thing, we'll start putting everything together. For triggers, I have 2 Trigger Tech triggers here. I bought the Special initially because I do not expect I want to run below 1 pound. And I got the curved blade, as that's what I am used to. And then at the NRS inaugural matches, I was fortunate enough to be able to pick up a diamond off the table, and this one has the flat shoe. So it's going to be interesting for me to see what I prefer, a flat shoe or a curved. And I also now have a backup in the unlikely event I have one of these triggers go down. Triggers are important. As you get better on the rifle, you're going to start feeling the inconsistencies of a factory trigger. And for me, what I found with my Ruger, I had a typical around 1.5 pound pull, but then every once in a while I would have a radically light, maybe an 8 ounce pull, and very, very occasionally I would have a heavy one. But typically I would have the odd light one. The 2 matches up in Magnetowa, they stand out to me because I can distinctly remember dropping 5 shots in the 2 days because my trigger broke too early. And that's what settled it for me. We're not going to go for some cheap trigger. We're going to want to pick one of the best, and it would seem that Trigger Tech has placed themselves squarely in one of the best category. And with them also being made here in Canada, Mississauga, they're very local for me. So that's also a nice benefit as well. For my mount, for the optic, I've chosen to get a spur. This is the 30 MOA or a 9mm cant to it. So that should pair well with my 30 or 40 MOA rail. I have a real I like one-piece mounts. I'm a very big fan of them, and I feel that if you're going to be running an expensive optic, that it is a good idea to run it in a one-piece mount. The other thing it allows you to do is flip your optic off and drop it on another rifle, come back, drop it on your first one, and have a very consistent return to zero. Or if you take your optic off to clean, make sure your rail screws are tight, double check everything, you drop this back on, you may or may not even have to move your zero. You're definitely going to be within a tenth or two if you torque your screws in a consistent pattern and to a consistent torque. So for me, I feel that the money on a one-piece mount is well spent, and so we have a spur here. The optic that I'll be running is likely going to be the Minox, but we don't know that for sure at this point. But the 34mm tube is pretty universal in the top end optics. Alright, the ACC by MDT is the chassis that I chose. I chose to go the chassis route for a number of reasons. The main reason is rigidity. With my Ruger RPR, with the hand guard being attached to the barrel nut, I get movement in my point of impact dependent on where I have the rifle supported, how much pressure I have with my hand, am I loading it, am I free recoiling. All of those things make a difference. So going to a solid one-piece chassis is going to definitely help reduce, if not eliminate, that. Also, you got a lot of adjustability, and I find for myself chassis are easier to build good positions with than a stock, but that's definitely personal preference. MPA is one I could have considered as well, and I find them to be a comfortable chassis, but with the shorter forend, I felt that it's going to be require a little more weight to balance the system, so I chose not to go that direction. And then Cadex. The Cadex I would probably rate as my favorite as far as the ergonomics are concerned. They fit me very well, but their forend design is not ideal for a competition setting, and well, Cadex competition is not their main focus, so they're building chassis for other purposes, and to have them too specific is not going to work in other roles, and this type of a forend is not going to be ideal. So I decided the comfort, well, it may fit me slightly better. I think the features here are going to suit this use case a little better. The other thing then is the internal weight system, and also I have some of the external weights here so that I can get this to balance. I would feel that rifle balance is very critical. The other thing is the built-in Arca rail. Not every chassis does this, but there are a few who do, and I think that's a really, really slick little system. So I'm looking forward to running the Arca. Currently, I just run Picatinny rail. I could run Picatinny rail on here, but I'm not sure why I would bother when I have the opportunity to run the Arca. It's going to be a lot nicer. So I'm really looking forward to that in the coming season. Alright guys, we got her set up here. The action fit into the chassis perfect. It was, when I set it in and I torqued either of the screws, I didn't have any rocking in the action. It sat perfectly flat. So I'm very happy with that. It's a perfect even fit. I have seen where that did not happen already, so I was very happy to have this a perfect fit. I got Trigger Tech Special in. I've been messing around with the magazines here. Even without a barrel, I can have it feed perfectly out of the magazine, just messing around like this, so I'm happy with that. Initially, as the round would feed out of the magazine, it would snap up and it wouldn't get caught with the extractor, but I got the magazine up all the way as far as it'll go, and it fits. Like we have very little play in here, and it's feeding without a barrel, so that's a very good sign. I tried the Ultimatum magazines, and they are probably not going to work. The feed angle is different. The Voodoo magazines, they will feed as well, but it's not optimal. So my opinion at this point is you're going to want the RimX magazines to make this feed perfect. So it's too bad we didn't have a 15 round option, but hey, 10 rounders work too. So this is basically how I'm going to have this one set up for now. I think I'm going to run this one in the yellow chassis here. I like how the black on yellow goes together. Well, it's my company colors, obviously, and I think that makes for a sharp looking chassis. I just painted this with Home Hardware paint on top of the original Cerakote, so it's going to come off and chip and scratch, but that's part of life if you're going to compete with a rifle, so we're not too worried about that. I might look into getting it Cerakoted in the yellow here. Now the Ultimatum is a different color. It's a little bit more of a bronze, not really bronze, but it's a different color. It's not a true black. So I'm not sure that it would fit perfectly with yellow. I might look into doing a different color, maybe a burnt bronze in the chassis. I put that one in. I don't have a chassis for the Ultimatum. We'll see what we end up with there. But then if you guys want to follow along, subscribe. We're going to run the RimX through testing here. We just do some initial testing in the winter, get it set up for competing. And then this summer, I plan on running the RimX and the Ultimatum side by side and see which rifle I prefer in the long run. And I'll be doing videos on gathering your drop data, truing your ballistic calculator, and setting up the rifle. Hopefully it's something that'll help you guys as you set up your rifles. And we see a lot of questions on gathering drop data, and it's not really that complicated, but I would like to do a tutorial on that for you guys. So subscribe and follow along, and you'll get to see these some more.